There was this one birthday that I went to, and I think I've done a couple birthdays like this where I didn't make plans very far ahead. And so this is like a last minute thing. And I'm like, what do I want to do? And so I looked online and found a natural hot springs. And I found this natural hot spring that was like 2 hours away. And I went on this drive, got lost, couldn't find the place where to get to the actual hiking trail. Finally found it. And when I got there, I met all these other people that were just like in the hot springs. So it was a great experience for me. And I left feeling so full. Like I felt like I went on a girls trip, like a vacation. Like it felt really full. But it started off as like just a solo thing. And what made it feel really full is because it was just me fulfilling something that I wanted to do for myself. And then also feeling connected with that desire and feeling connected with nature and being open to whoever I met on the trail. So there was so many opportunities to connect that like I was in an abundance, even though I was by myself. And that's how we can look at this is if you are dealing with loneliness, it's more about how do you feel inside? Are you even open to connection? Because a lot of times we're closed off to the connections that are available, yet we feel lonely, yet we're not open to connecting. And by connecting first with yourself and doing some whatever activities it might be. And when you go from that inner place and you put yourself out in the world, you'll find it so much easier. And there's so much abundance of connections to be made to a point where no matter how many people you're around or not, you don't feel lonely because you're full from the inside. Welcome to Garner Growth. Welcome to Garner Growth. What's up, fam? Welcome to another episode of Garner Growth. And today I'm going to talk to you about overcoming loneliness. We are in the fall season. No matter what time you're watching this, loneliness could come upon you and you could need some help on trying to coping with it. So it is cuffing season. And a lot of times with the holidays, you tend to highlight loneliness because there's this expectation that you should be around a lot of people and living this hallmark moment, or you feel naturally we do have our hormones and that need to mate and couple is actually biological. So don't, put it past yourself. It's nothing wrong with you. Everybody's feeling this. There's a wave of hormones that happen with the seasons that change where you do want to be closer to somebody. You do want to mate and you do want to prepare for the winter, hibernate. And so that's natural. And I'm going to talk to you today about some ways that you can not only cope with it, but also even change your perspective on this season so that it's not something that you're expecting to be lonely or expecting to be, in the seeking mode of trying to find somebody. You can also enjoy your own space and also like highlight the things that you really enjoy in this time of year that you usually ignore throughout the rest of the year. Because it's a time for slowing down. It's a time for deeper connection, even within yourself. And it's a lot of opportunities to connect if you can put your mind to it and then put some action behind it. So I'm going to talk to you about some things that I do personally because my birthday's also in December. So there's a lot of things happening in December. And whether you're single, whether you're married, whether you have a big family, a small family, no family, anybody can experience loneliness, especially if you are just feeling that disconnection within yourself. And that's more what we're going to talk about is working on that disconnection and nurturing that disconnection within yourself, because it has a lot more to do with that than what's happening, on the outside. One thing that I've learned over the years is perspective. And if you've expecting yourself to feel a certain way just because of a date, just because of a season of the year, then even without trying it, you're going to perpetuate that. You're going to create that reality for yourself. And so one thing you start doing is changing your perspective to like, what can I look forward to in this season? Like, what do I love about the fall? What do I love about the holidays? And even if you don't like the holidays, how can I spend that time in a way that's more enjoyable for me? And what we all have access to is the ability to like just enjoy your connections that you do have more. And I like to call it like microdosing connection. And so like if I go to the store, if I go outside and walk my dog and I see a neighbor, just greeting people, acknowledging their presence, saying hello, bringing yourself out of this isolation that you might find yourself in, even doing subconsciously, and taking advantage of all the connections around you. Like I noticed this during COVID when we were all kind of isolated in our corners, that I would get like happy when I went to the grocery store and just talk to the cashier or talk to, whoever was working there, another customer, just joining in conversations randomly. And not everybody is so extroverted to do that. But if somebody says hi to you, if somebody makes eye contact with you, exchange that energy, say hi back, actually put some engagement into that. A lot of times I'll say hi because I'm from the Midwest, so I'm just a person that will say hi to anybody and like greet anybody. And a lot of times people look away from me or they'll like look away, and I used to feel jilted, but I'm like, okay, like, they don't want it. They don't want the connection. Even as small as it is, it still has meaning. And if you have those little small doses of connection that you just acknowledge other people's presence in your life, people that are sharing your environment that exist, it adds up and you feel more fulfilled than if you went the whole day and didn't make eye contact with anybody, didn't say hi to anybody. And so, yeah, like say hi to your mailman, say hi to your neighbors more often. Just putting in that effort to greet really helps to feel more connected overall. And especially during the holiday season, like everybody's looking for it. So you'll find that you'll get a lot more reception just by you having that open energy and that open perspective of, okay, like I'm open for a connection, versus when you're closed, you kind of like avoid eye contact with everybody. You might just kind of want to shut the world out. So it's really up to you, but you have those options. And also it's really important to not compare yourselves. Like I mentioned before, you expect to have these hallmark moments because we're just visually bombarded with all these visuals of what the holiday season looks like. And you might be like, well, I don't have a big family, or I'm not going home for the holidays, and I'm single, or, I'm not in a connected relationship. And so you start to compare yourself, and that just highlights what you don't have or what you feel like you don't have. And it makes the loneliness just sink in more. So just be very aware of comparing to yourself. I think there's, I wouldn't say the Netherlands. It's different than the Netherlands. Iceland or Greenland. One of those northern cultures, they have a philosophy where the reason that they're the happiest people in the world, I really think it is the Greenland. Yeah. The reason why they're so happy is because they have embedded in their culture is that they do not compare themselves to anybody. And they're also not showy. They're not very showy people. And just as a principle of how you view other people in the world, by not comparing, you're not going to have that should be. It should be this. It shouldn't be nothing but what you want it to be and what you are cultivating for yourself. And keep checking that comparison, keep checking that habit that we have to say, I want this and they have this and I don't. And, that puts you at different levels. And it happens a lot with social media. So just that habit in our culture, it's really hard to break because of the fact that we have social media, which is like comparing is built in to the model, right? You just, even as a creator, I'll look and see somebody that's creating more videos than me, or they're more consistent. And just in that observation, I'm comparing, and now I feel like I'm not doing enough. Also motivated, right? But at the same time, you could, depending on how you receive that and what mood you're in, you can feel like discouraged, or you can feel like disappointed in yourself because you're not doing what this person is doing. So being aware of comparing. And also when we are aware of what we want and don't have, it just highlights. So for instance, there was a moment that I went through where I really wanted to have kids. And I was like noticing, it seemed like everybody had kids but me, right? And it was because I was in that I don't have mood. There was a time where I wanted a house, and it felt like everybody I talked to had a house but me. And so you have these moments where you really want something, and that want is also going to be met with lack, because it's like you're noticing, I don't have it. And you put so much focus on it that it grows. And so just be aware of that. If you are really like finding yourself feeling in that lack, that's when gratitude is a really great practice. And I know gratitude, people talk about it like it's, a fix-all, but it really does work. If you put your focus on what you have and kind of like repeat it over and over, or take 5 minutes to just think of all the things that you could be grateful for, not even five, a minute, and just remember all the things that you're grateful for in reaction to you feeling a lack, or in reaction to you comparing, you notice like, okay, I'm comparing and I'm feeling like down, I'm feeling low about this. So let me take a minute to focus on gratitude and what I have. And it will boost your mood. Like, it really does work. So if you haven't tried that, you haven't been practicing gratitude, give that a try. And just be mindful, like, you have a lot of tools that you already know, that you already are aware of, that you can use. And when you use them, it's not so much trying to fix things or change things, but you just feel like engaged with yourself. You feel empowered, like, I'm living life, I feel this way, and then I did this, and now I feel this way. And it's kind of like what we're here to do. We're here to engage with this life that we have in front of us. And instead of being more passive and finding ourselves feeling this way, just kind of like sitting in it until it passes, which sometimes you do, you want to do. But there's also the option to create, and like, creativity is not always going to be like creating the arts, but it's creating the art of your life. The art of your mood, your perspective, like, is an art that you create every day. And this time of the year, because it is slower, there might be a lot less demand on work. There might be less demand on your schedule. It's a great time to learn a new skill, or actually practice something that you already are interested in. So if you're something that you are interested in, like painting, sewing, snowboarding, whatever the activity is, those are all things that I want to do. Whatever the thing is, you have this opportunity now to just put more time into it, because maybe you don't have to do as much work, or, there's even like more breaks with school. So it gives you more time, and that's a gift. We love time. We don't get time back. It's such a precious thing. So if you take advantage of all the amount of time that you have, and if you are single, you have even more time to do what you want. You have even more autonomy, and you can look at it as something that is lonely or lack, but you also have the opportunity to look at it as something like an abundance that you have. And what do I want to do with this abundance of time? What do I want to do with this abundance of space, and doing what I want to do, pursuing something that, like, I just want to do? It's really a freedom that we take advantage of, because we might be focused so much on, but I want this, or I don't have this, and they exist at the same time. So that's another option, is really taking advantage of the abundance that you have of space and time, and using it to enrich yourself with a skill, enrich yourself with an activity. If you want to learn, start to meditate more during this time, it could be a great way to connect with yourself. And that's one of my favorite things to do too, is doing activities that help me connect with myself more, like journaling, meditating, just sitting down and breathing. Sometimes it sounds boring, y'all. It really does. But sometimes, like, especially if you feel overwhelmed or you're tired, just laying down and breathing with some nice music in the background, it's a great activity to do. You should try it. And then also planning. The weather is different around different parts of the world, right? Y'all know that if you like to travel. So if you plan something ahead of time that you have to look forward to, it really puts a fire under you. Like, it makes you want to be motivated to work out more, or be motivated to work more and save up. But setting plans for yourself ahead of time is going to change how you even perceive this time of the year, because you're looking forward to something now. And you're not wondering what you're going to do. That lack of purpose and structure oftentimes will just leave more space for you to sit with some emotions. But if you have something to look forward to, it's like, okay, this is exciting me. Like, in the background, I'm working, I'm doing this, but I'm looking forward to this. And it can always be a source of motivation for you. It can always be a source of happiness for you. And it can be something as simple as going on Meetup, going on Eventbrite, going on these different sites where you're able to find people who are also looking for something to do. And that was a really big resource for me when I moved to a different state. Was I didn't know anybody. I didn't have the regular resources of how to fill my time and how to connect with people. So I went on these sites, I found things to do. It helped me to meet people that had common interest. And it also showed me different places in my new environment. And most of the time it's free. So if you have those options, you have those sources of apps or sites to find activities or people that have common interest, even Facebook groups. There's actually a lot of Facebook groups. So look at your resources and find people that you can connect with and put some effort into it. If you find that you really are lonely and what you might need is just like some more points of contact. You might need to be more, you might need some more connection with yourself. So really just feel into it and figure out what you need. You might need a combination of both. I find that myself, I need a combination of both. I like to be with myself, have my alone time, and be more introverted and just like, do things by myself. But then sometimes I also need to connect. And sometimes it's enough for me to just go run errands and get my connection. Sometimes it's enough for me to I might want to go to an event and meet several different people, but I'm aware of what my needs are most of the time. And I will find a way to get them met. There's options. So yeah, look at your resources. You might have Facebook groups, Meetup. It might be people that you already know that you just haven't checked on in a while. A lot of times you just forget that you actually know people. You actually have a friend and a half, and you forget to check up on them. They haven't checked up on you. But little things like that. Hey, how you doing? A little call, a little text, just acknowledging that person exists and showing some interest. A lot of times will put a light on inside you and make you feel a lot less alone. And then one of the last things I want to share with you that's really helped me to feel less alone, because I felt alone in rooms full of people, at parties that I've hosted, being by myself. But I've also felt very full and very connected when I'm by myself. I felt very full and connected when I'm on a solo hike. There was this one birthday that I went to, and I think I've done a couple birthdays like this where I didn't have any plans. I didn't have any plan. I didn't make plans very far ahead. And so this is like a last minute thing. And I'm like, what do I want to do? And so I planned to go, I looked online and found a natural hot springs because I love natural hot springs. And I found this natural hot spring that was 2 hours away. I was like, 2 hours is a good drive. I can do that. And so I planned it. I got snacks and whatever. And I went on this drive, got lost. It was a whole adventure. Got lost. Couldn't find the place where to get to the actual hiking trail. Finally found it. And it was a very scary hike. I had to scale a mountain. I felt like it was 12 inches of space on the trail before you fall off the side of the mountain. And I made my way down, finally got to this hot springs, which is amazing. It was the best hot springs I've ever been to. And when I got there, I met all these other people that were just in the hot springs. It was nice too. It was clothing optional. And so it was a great experience for me. And I left feeling so full. I felt like I went on a girls trip, a vacation. It felt really full. But it started off as just a solo thing. And what made it feel really full is because it was just me fulfilling something that I wanted to do for myself. And then also feeling connected with that desire and feeling connected with nature and being open to whoever I met on the trail. So there was so many opportunities to connect that I was in an abundance, even though I was by myself. And that's how we can look at this is if you are dealing with loneliness, it's more about how do you feel inside? Are you even open to connection? Because a lot of times we're closed off to the connections that are available, yet we feel lonely, yet we're not open to connecting. And by connecting first with yourself and doing some, whatever activities it might be, for me, it is meditating, it's breath work, it could be praying, it could be singing for you, it could be expressing yourself through art, but it makes you feel connected. It makes you feel connected to an inner source of creation and creativity. And when you go from that inner place and you put yourself out in the world, you'll find it so much easier. And there's so much abundance of connections to be made to a point where no matter how many people you're around or not, you don't feel lonely because you're full from the inside, and that's really what this is about, is being full from the inside. And you become a resource of a fullness to other people. So, if you've ever met somebody that it feels like there's a void in them And a lot of times people might call this a succubus, or it feels like this person's sucking your soul out, or an incubus for the males. And it really speaks to that sense of a void, of like this gravity that's like pulling from you, pulling energy from you versus giving to you. And that feeling of drain versus giving and contributing it's very visceral. You can feel the difference. And so when you're feeling lonely and you're feeling like there's this huge void in you, it's not something that only you can feel. Like it shows in your presence. It projects out in your presence. And when you do the opposite, where you do feel full within yourself, you feel fulfilled or connected within yourself, it feels like, oh, like I want to share space with this person. This person feels inviting. It feels like there's a warmth, a warm light, like a moth to a flame that is magnetic. And so you have this difference of being magnetic versus being repelling. And it's really based off of like what the inside environment is like, what's going on inside of here. And so you want to do that for yourself, not so you can be, you know, the flame that all the moths want to come to, but so that you yourself feel that flame inside, that glowing, that light. And if you feel the opposite, you feel this darkness, this kind of like black hole feeling, then it's not something that you're going to get met. It's not a need you're going to get met outside. No matter what you do, who you're around, it's still going to have to come from in here. So your call to action this week is to really do something, a practice. I'm going to refer you back to my meditation list because it does have some good resources on there, especially the body scan. The body scan is a meditation that just focuses your mind on your body, how it feels in this part of your body, in your throat, in your chest, your hips. And it's like 10 to 20 minute exercise, but you do that. And at the end of it, you've put all your attention on what's going on the inside of you. And at the end of it, you do feel like there's more attention there. There's more energy there. Because remember, what did we say? Where your attention goes, energy flows. And when you put your attention on anything, the inside of you, there's going to be more energy put on that. It's going to feel fuller. If you were to ignore how you felt and just put all your attention on how people might be thinking about you, how they might be judging you, you'll feel that sense of disconnection. You'll feel that drain, that emptiness, that lack of fullness. So by drawing your attention back on the inside and noticing, putting your attention there, how do I feel? And then also breathing life into yourself, speak life into yourself. I am full. I am loving. I am worthy of love. If those are thoughts that are coming along with your sense of loneliness that you might experience, then you got to find some affirmations that will, I don't say negate those, but that will change that vibration, because they do come with like a heavier feeling to them, right? A negative kind of energy. And so if you have an affirmation that's more positive and that says, no, I'm not, empty, or I'm not lonely. I'm actually full. I'm loving. I'm worthy of love. I'm surrounded by love. I'm grateful. Just saying those things, it actually just feels good. Like if you just took a pause right now and just said 5 affirmative things to yourself, you'll notice the difference. No matter how you feel, it'll just uplift you from wherever you're at. And that's something that you can do anytime, anywhere, and just doing it for your own self-care. So that's your homework tonight or this week, is to just bless yourself with the gift of self-connection. Find a way to connect with your body, do some breathing, and check out the meditation list that I have. There's a lot of options of different activities you can do on there. And then also just use your source of the internet. There's so many different like audio sources out there. I use things like Pure Tone to help me focus, solfeggio frequencies, ambient music, healing frequencies. So those are the keywords that you can use to find all these audio healings, or audio tools that I call them, to just help you adjust your vibration to what you need it to be. All right. And that is our episode for this week. I'll see you on the next one. Don't forget to like, comment, and let me know what you thought about this episode and something that might be working for you. And also subscribe. I'll see you on the next one. Bye. Like, subscribe, share the growth.
If you are not ready for the day, It cannot always be